So yeah, so like when you're trying to do a build, you have to definitely keep in track of those timings that you need to be in front of and see if it works. So one of them would be for that particular build versus Zerg to do it before mutas. I think mutas are like the only vulnerable thing for roaches, but you can get a sweet spot where they don't do enough damage and you can still wipe out their workers and then spore up and then keep macroing up. Yeah, I love Jackie Chan. Let's see. Tell me what am I doing here? Tell me what am I doing? What am I doing here? Go up the ramp. No, this one was lower reaction. Like this player didn't know how to deal with the cannon rush at all. You can tell. You do not stop that barracks from building. You send another SCV right away. That does happen a lot. Right here. You're supposed to go up the ramp to go act like, you know, you're just a normal scouter. And you nibble, but like he should already react right there. Like, oh shit, I'm getting nibbled, send the other SCV, pull this one back or whatever it may be. But keep this barracks going, because if this barracks doesn't go, then the cannons are gonna be ahead of the game. So that's the important part. That's why the, you know, this right there, that leaving and not sending two SCVs. The only thing I can think of is this player is like super hardcore macro player, you know? Only a macro player would feel like, oh, it's okay, I'll just send my SCV off. I don't, you could definitely feel it. But then again, he does know how to do a standard intro, so he either he's watched for a while or he's got a new account, but still not good. But yeah. Put another quarter in the slot. What happened? Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'm bouncing between here and the stove, so I'm only catching bits and pieces. Ah, damn. Intricate's being a chef right now. He's got a critique that is very important right now, so it's gotta be Montebella. Get off the phone and watch Florio, damn it. Yeah, no, hell no. Imagine when you used to play StarCraft and then someone try to like, and try to call somebody, or someone try to call you. You're like, damn it, who the hell tried to call me? What the hell, you guys are fucking up my game. Don't call me. I never gave my phone number out. Nobody had my number. The phone wasn't plugged in. It was all good. Nobody was gonna wreck my freaking internet. I had no. That phone don't work. That's just for my internet. That's it. Just for the internet. It's just for StarCraft. They want to talk to me. They better walk over here. You know. Yeah. Seriously. We back. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. They're searching. They are searching for. So we're gonna be working on our random in Korea now. Now that we got a pretty good feel of at least a little bit of Terran and Zerg to a point where we got to like Diamond in North America. Now we gotta like make sure that we are really Diamond in Korea, because if not, then we have to try to get there in Korea, because I think Korea for me is always like my best litmus test to where I am, or what I'm doing, whether it be a build, or split a play style. I always test it here to see where it falls. I don't think that in North. I think I can feel a difference when I do it here and then when I do it in NA or Europe. In Europe and NA, they it's not the same in Korea. In Korea, I'm like, oh, that's a different player that did different stuff. Now they definitely have their own little metas, different than the others. It's kind of like going to Bloodsport. You ever seen the movie Bloodsport with Van Damme? Where Van Damme goes into like some blood. No, not. Well, I would say Bloodsport would be a good one. I was thinking of more like Kickball. What was it? The Quest, Bloodsport, The Quest. All those movies. They have this sense of like there's a fighter that you kind of want to root for, and then the fighters fighting all kinds of styles. Like one fights like a monkey, the other one fights with bronze strength, and then the other one's with like weird play style. So I feel like when you go to Korea, it's kind of like that, like going into kickboxing location where it's like the styles are somewhat better, different than what we usually see. We're gonna look for the pool right now. Pool's almost done. So he's got like a proxy that he's gonna be doing. Oh, this poor soul. Poor guy. I think he knows that it's me now. Let's rewind it. Alright, explain what's going on. So, we start off with the little slowdown. I was chatting, and because I was chatting, I didn't make my pylon early on, and I made a gas early on, and I canceled my gas. That's due to chatting. I'm not very good at chatting and playing, and the reason for that is because I don't memorize builds. You know what I mean? I am a freestyle player, and because I'm a freestyle player, I'm more of a player that can just out of a sudden I can think of maybe being interested in doing one build before I push the start button, and then all of a sudden by the time I start the game and put the probes to minerals, I just think of something totally different and just go do it. And it's because of those things that I can't talk and describe things too easily unless I already know what I'm gonna do. But then usually by that time I spend that time thinking of what else I'm gonna do, because I'm always thinking what I'm gonna do next, and it's because of that players don't know what I'm doing. It's because I'm always deciding real time what should I do next, and I always try to top myself in regards to something interesting for myself. Let me try something different, but something that makes sense to me, something that's within reason of being a better player, using a better unit or a tactic or strategy, right? And it's that real-time strategy that really gets me to like where I doodle. If I talk, I do, because I can't do one and the other. I just can't. I can't chat and think what I'm gonna be doing at the same time. It just, to me, I'm just gonna be doodling, And so you'll see the doodling. You'll see me make gas when I talk in the beginning, and I'm like, wait, I stop talking. I'm like, oh, cancel, and I'm like really behind, which is still gives you like a little bit of room for error that I could always be quicker and crisper, but at the same time, I'm chatting and reading chat here and there, and sometimes that kind of like weakens my timings, but it makes an interesting game sometimes. I think playing freestyle requires too much attention to worry about the whole chat through. Exactly. That's why I like to chat and explain things after the game, and I feel like it's really good, because I think as much as it's good to stream and explain yourself while you're playing in real time, I think that's good and it's a skill, but I also think that you can't stop and ponder a topic that might be interesting at that point in time, you know? As much as you would like to, you kind of have to keep going and pass to the next conversation based on what's going on in the game, right? But if you do it afterwards, then I feel like you can stop on a spot, talk, answer a question, get a little bit more into that particular question, and then keep moving on to the cast, understanding the game, what happened in this game. And I think that that's something that I do that a lot of people like, because they get to understand more details than what they would normally get, like a top coding of the subject, versus the deep roots of why do you do that though. What are you looking for? What's the outcome you're expecting? So that I know what you're thinking, so at least I could understand what to watch for too, you know? Like whatever you pay attention, obviously it's something I want to pay attention, because you're playing unorthodox and you have your reasons. So then that's why I feel like on my way, as much as I have a weakness of talking through my games, I do have a strength of explaining my games afterwards. And so that's why I tend to feel more in this kind of play style where I play and you're just watching, and I'm playing and I'm learning, and then afterwards we get into the topic of what happened in this game. If there's something to go with, you know, sometimes it's a specific timing, or if it's a specific thing that I'm really paying attention to. But if there's a lot of detail to a game, I kind of explain my thoughts on what I'm trying to do, or what I'm expecting to do, what the situations are in my head. Protoss I can do a lot better than I could as Terran or Zerg, but I still have my own level thinking with my own actions of Zerg and Terran to be able to express myself on why I'm doing these things. So that's what I think is good, is that I can explain to you why I do things, and it's because I do them from my experience versus somebody just telling me to do it and I'm just, you know, saying that I'm doing it because that's what I learned, you know? It's different knowledge from what I've learned from somebody than what I've experienced and why I do things, because experience has a whole lot more to hold, more memory to hold than someone telling you. Like if someone says, oh, don't jump off a moving car, you might hurt yourself, it's a little different than the feeling of falling off a car and scraping yourself, and you're just like, you see your skin, it hurts, it's fucking, you're red and white, and you're like, like this hurt, and then you got scars for days, and you remember that way more on why not to get on top of a car when it's moving, and you're like, okay, and because of that, I'm never gonna do it again. Versus someone telling you to do it and not doing it, and you're like, well, I don't know why. I know you're telling me why, but I don't know why. So sometimes it's good, as long as it's not self-inflicting. In this case, it's a video game. Sometimes it's okay to die in your video game, as long as you learn something. So the experience to do it and fail is way more empowerment than for somebody to tell you to do this because it's just good for you. You know, you don't know why it's good for you because you never felt the reason why. And then once you do, you understand it, and you're like, oh, you know. Sometimes people have this obstacle and they still haven't understood how to go around the obstacle. But then, like, sometimes I do a build and they go, hey, that's an obstacle that you jumped over, that's where I got stuck. And then they go, oh, okay, so that's what you have to do, or that's one way to do it. Okay, cool. At least I found an avenue. But at least they understood the pains first. They understood why it makes sense. They're like, oh, I know why he does that. It's because when I go in my games, I face the same thing and I keep dying because they come in with roaches or something. I see Florencio and he's doing void raids to kill off the roaches. That makes sense. And then he's going to oracles to counter the hydras because the hydras come in after the void raids. That makes sense. And then they start understanding it, and it's because you felt that pain. And that pain really locks in that memory and really gets you to not forget about it, because it becomes a stain in your memory that you go, oh, these are all fundamentals now. They're not just experiences. They're not just losses. They're fundamentals that I bring with the losses, with the experience. And those fundamentals are what make a freestyle player able to freestyle, is because if the more fundamentals you have by the experiences that you have, the more ways of doing the right choices in a freestyle game. You know, but you gotta fail. You gotta fail, but you gotta know that failing is just a part of it, a part of the journey, and then that's pretty much what you know, what makes you better. So I don't know how we got to that tangent, but let's keep going with this build. All right, so getting a pylon. And boom, right here, no hatchery. So there's like a timing, and in this case, denied. All right, so this hatchery, we don't know. There's a couple things. We don't know this is a hatchery that's gonna be made. This could be like a fake drone. This could be a drone that looks like he's gonna make a hatchery and then go for like a roach rush. This is like don't always believe this drone. Go in there with your game plan. In my case, in this game, I make a pylon and make him think that I think that he knows that he's making a hatchery. You get me? There goes the mind games again. Now we're playing mind games. If you want to make a hatchery, then I'm denying it. But if you didn't want to make a hatchery and you're making me think that you're making a hatchery, but I'm denying it, then I want to deny it to make you think that I think I'm denying you when you're really not getting denied, and you're doing plan A the first time, which is roaches, and you're going to actually come at me hard. You get me? It's a little... So sometimes what you show them that looks somewhat understandable to something else is sometimes more important to act dumb. You know, you're acting dumb. I'm acting dumb right here. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm denying your hatchery. Oh, no, I'm thinking about the next chapter. I'm thinking about what's to come. I was like, okay, you went for a slow hatch. Let's go check what's up there, the ramp. So I go up the ramp and I go, oh, okay. And my biggest tell is the hatchery. There's different, when you come into the base, you're gonna have a couple levels of hatcheries, 3 different levels of hatcheries. You get one that's like right here, that's intermediate, which kind of like not that fast. And then there's one that when you go up the ramp, the hatchery's already done. I mean, the pool's already done, and the lings are practically coming out. That's a fast pool first. This is like a kind of a little faster than your normal like hatch pool. It's kind of like in between of a hatch pool, which is coming out at some weird time. But this weird time is still reasonable for me because it's not like a really early ling rush. This is kind of like a passive / early ling rush, which in this case, like, it's supposed to stop the cannon rushing. At least supposed to. I don't know, because it's still a little late. So this is what happens. I make the pylon. I know what timing the pool's at, so I know that it's gonna be a little bit of time for him to a little bit of time for him to get those lings out, right? And I steal the gas because of the long run. I don't want him making too many Ravagers. I don't want him making too many follow-ups, like say layer tech or whatnot. So you're denying the actual follow-up of the push if you just be safe and get the gas, right? That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. So I come over here, and this pylon looks like a hatchery block, right? Well, it's not just a hatchery block. It's, like I said, it's a pylon block because I'm making him think that I'm playing dumb, that I think I'm canceling his hatchery, and he's gonna make lings and counter it. So what I do is I keep that pylon so that I can make cannons from that point. So now I'm making cannons. Now in some cases it's a litmus test. It's always changing. Some players, they bring all the drones and they deny it, and then you just slow them down. You're just literally slowing down their proxy, because they would easily just from there just kill the pylon and then make a hatchery, right? So instead of that, they have situations. Do you pull your drones? Because pulling your drones and dealing with this also hurts you, and it slows you down, and not mining, and making cannons and canceling the cannons and getting a little deduction off of it is fine with me, because I'll make a gateway right here later and just create more time for him to not get a hatchery, and it really pisses him off too while I'm getting my macro on. So that's why I do this. It's a pylon setup, and then now he has to commit. And then I blocked this part because he gave me an opportunity to block this and choke it for this side. I'm hitting the attack button because you notice how the lings are on move command and then they're on attack. Usually they attack the ground, and because of that they're always on an A move, unless they physically attack specific units. That's different. So right here what I do is sometimes I hit attack with the probe to see if the lings will follow me. You see how these lings got, you know, they got attack on the ground, and all of a sudden my probe is on an attack move right here, and because they're on attack move, it looks like he's focused on it, but I'm not sure. Sometimes these lings derp and they try to follow him, then they're like, no, not the probe, the cannons, and they're like, shit. So you can do that sometimes. You can create like little attack hits just to see if the lings are actually on specific unit buildings, or if they're just ground attacks. It's the ground attacks that really derp them. That's where you can get them to pull away from the area, you know. And then right here I just kind of block these, and this one I didn't want to say cost another cannon, so I canceled that cannon. I knew this cannon was gonna be able to go up and kill this one for sure, but I didn't want to spend more than I have to. Conservative. Okay, I saw about 3 drones. I didn't see these 2 go back up, but I did see 3 drones out, so I was like, okay, well there's definitely a drone on the map. And so what I do with this build is I get my Nexus and my Zealots. The Zealots are going to be for the early game. What happens is you get a couple Zealots, like 3 or 4, and then you go out and you snipe that base that's being hatched. You know, that new hatchery that's going to be built by the drone. The Zealots will go take care of it. And even though you don't kill the hatchery sometimes, what you're doing is you're taking damage off the hatchery to the point where your void raids come in and snipe the hatchery pretty quick, because it's already almost dead, you know. So the void raids come and go, oh, psh, sniped, and the queens don't have too much time to be able to attack the void raids because the hatchery dies too quick, and they rather use the energy on creep tumors and injects. So there goes the Zerg, like, damn it, I need the gas. Maybe not needing the gas, I don't know. Doesn't go for it right away. Yeah, see, building up roaches. Trying to go for like that really big roach ravager rush. Ooh, lost that roach. he let you guys take care of it. Yeah, I gotta go attack. So yeah, see, I'm going scouting around, just checking for that hatchery. The Zealots did go out and snipe that hatchery and deny it. He canceled it. So that's the job with the Zealots. So that's what the Zealots do. They go and take care of that hatchery. He's gonna come over to me, and that's why I'm making a battery shield right here, and that's why I have the Stargate over here or over here. You never want to have the Stargate down here, because then the roach ravagers can break through and then stop the Stargate from continuing by depowering it. So never build a Stargate at the bottom, always on the top. Why he sent these drones, I have no idea, but he's I need more workers. What could I say? I need an army. I don't know. I have no idea why he sent the drones over here. What up, Falcrum? Okay, so right here, I knew he was gonna start trying to damage it to get in. I have my battery overcharge here, so it's got good DPS, and so he's like, "Let me in!" And then he hit himself at the end. But kudos to him, you know. Voyager won, gave the respect, gave a GG, and I'm sure we all see the pain on that one. That pylon just did not die. Yeah, GG. But that's the importance of having the void raid. The earlier you have the void raid, you could deal with that roach ravager rush. If you don't go void raid first and you go nexus first, then you die. You usually die if you go nexus first before Stargate versus a good player. So that's one of those things where you're like, the greedier the player that does this kind of like play style, like canon into like follow up, the greedier you are, the more you get punished. So the answer isn't to get a faster nexus when you do that. Usually the answer is to get a void raid or something to counter the air, the ground. So that's why Stargate before nexus. What up? How's it going, Falcon Blade?